It's kind of funny. So yeah, like usually once we see the chat pop up, that's when we know they'll see everything in the background. Yeah,
Here
there we
we
go.
go.
Yeah, looks like we're live now. We'll let it roll for just a
Oh,
minute.
I can see the chat. Let's
Yeah,
go.
there's a lot of chat. All
Yeah,
right,
but
well, good evening, everybody. We have Bud here tonight as a guest co-host. How you doing, Bud? Thank you. He's filling in for Chris. Dominic's here with us tonight, and we're going to get the show started. But tonight we're going to be talking focal length. So let's get the show started.
there we're back.
Yeah.
It tried to loop the intro. We're back at that. You know, we escaped that for a little while back, but usually it waits to the end. Now we have it at the intro. So for those that don't know, I have two windows up. I have a editor and a live preview. The live preview shows me what's going on the show live for everyone right now watching.
All right.
And after I played the intro, it brings us to this scene we're at right now. But on the editor, the live preview shows that it's trying to loop the intro video again. It's a glitch. I don't really know why. I don't think it shows it to you guys, but we see it. So what a pain. So yeah, tonight we're going to be talking focal length. Before we go any further, I just want to say I lost a friend this past week. My friend Barry. He had some complications with his diabetes, and
Oh,
I just want to remind people, check in on your friends and your family from time to time. I just ran into him recently. We were I think, at the grocery store, and he came up and slapped his hand on my shoulder, which is kind of weird because people don't usually just come up and put their hands on you. And I turned around, and it was Barry, and he was doing all right, and we talked for a bit. But yeah, so just reach out to your friends if you haven't talked to them in a while. I try to say that all the time, but yeah, just reach out and say hi. But with that, let's say hi to everybody in the chat.
you got a boatload.
Oh, there we go. My wife was first. She became a member again. I feel like that's deja vu. And we got Ron in the house. How you doing, Ron? He's actually going to be joining us for the open chat tonight. Thank you. And Bill Walton's in the house. How you doing, Bill? Glad to have you here.
Great.
And
What's
Maria
with the
Davis is with us. You know,
Bill?
I never really knew this, but in Arizona they don't recognize daylight savings time, so I didn't know that. So I learned something new today. It's interesting. Let me see.
I used to own property there.
Yeah, Christian, Main Light Drone. How you doing,
All right,
Christian? Glad to
Christian.
have you here. Wonder if we got what he needed at the store. And Jody's in the house. How you doing, Jody? Glad to have
Hi,
you here.
Jody.
And Jim's in the house. He'll be joining us for open chat. How you doing, Jim?
Jim.
And Mudball. How you doing, Don? Glad to have you here.
To the fall back an hour.
Yeah. And Brian's in the house. Waypoint New England. How you doing, Brian? Glad to have you here.
Hi, Brian.
God, I'm glad you know all the names.
You know, it took a while. Hey,
Yeah,
Ken, how you doing? Ken will be joining us for open chat. I'm actually glad Ken was able to join us tonight because I know he's not just a drone photographer, but he's also a handheld camera photographer, and I think he could have some valuable input when we're talking focal length tonight. And Angel's in the house. How you doing, Angel? Glad to have you here. You know what's the fun part, Bud? You know how many times people come in and I call them by a completely different name, and it went on like that for months till I
right.
finally knew. Yeah, Jeff's place. How you doing? Jeff's in the house. Glad to have you here.
Yes.
And
Well,
Captain
I
Ray. How
used
you
to
doing,
keep a
Captain
list
Ray?
of what you would say, and then half the time
Right.
you were wrong. So,
Yeah, you know.
who giggles?
That's TJ.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Oh, thank you so much, Ray. I appreciate it. Excuse me. Hey, TJ, how you doing?
TJ.
And Warren's in the house lurking. How you doing, Warren? Glad to have you here. I'll make sure I don't miss anybody. Looks like that's everybody, right? Yeah, we got everybody.
Yep.
Cool.
I've,
Well,
I've got I've got an eye on it
yeah. So,
as far as I know.
Bud did community corner again this week. So let's do that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hope you like it.
Thank you so much for doing that, Bud. That was great.
Well, I just want to thank Jeff for calling me at like 9 o'clock Friday night, going, "Hey, I got a picture I got to put in there."
Yeah. Yep.
Needless to say, he owes me.
Yeah, that's true Jeff fashion right there. I actually met up with Jeff yesterday, which was fun. We the first time we've ever met up, and we got to fly together, which was really cool. Um, I was glad because he was up by Boston, and I messaged him. We weren't able to get together on Friday, but I messaged him yesterday. And I'm like, hey, you don't happen to be in Boston still? He says, yeah. I said, you want to meet up today? So we met up because we're less than an hour apart from each other. So I looked up this place. Hey, Amy, how you doing? And I looked up this place, and I said, oh, you know what? Let's go check this out. And it turned out to be pretty cool. It was an art museum. It's actually free. You could go in there. They didn't charge you anything, and they had a little lake behind it. We'll get in it tonight. I'll actually share some footage, and I got a little. I had something interesting happen with my Mavic 3 that I want to discuss. I'm not sure what the issue was, but I've never experienced it before, and we'll get into that. But let's bring our chat panel in here. I think we got everybody right. Everybody's in there. There we go. How's everybody doing tonight?
Great.
Doing good. Happy Sunday, everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yippee.
So before we get in on the topic tonight, I have a question. Who here has a Mavic 3?
Classic.
I have the 3 Pro.
Crickets.
Okay.
Cricket.
So where I went flying yesterday, mind you, I didn't do any update before I flew. Calibration. I didn't do a calibration, but I had this. It was like stick drift. I had the drone hovering. I had plenty of satellites. I had my GPS position just fine, and the drone started to yaw to the left, and it did it ever so slightly. And I couldn't get the drone to stay still. It just kept yawing, and I was just there to meet up with Jeff, so I didn't even fly that full battery. I landed the drone, and I said I'll troubleshoot it after. But I was curious if anybody had something similar with their drone, and he just where almost like stick drift. That's the best way I could explain it.
The only problem I've had with my 3 Classic is the last couple after the last update, the last couple return to homes were off by 2-3 feet, which I was able to correct because I didn't want to land in the grass. But other than that, no,
It's acceptable.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're landing in grass that hasn't been mowed in 3 weeks.
If you don't have the precision landing, then 2-3 feet is acceptable GPS positioning.
I understand that, but I mean, it for 100 landings before it was within.
Usually.
But anyway,
I had a friend that had a different drone than that do the same thing, and they sent it back to DJI. They were told that one of the motors was weak and wasn't pulling as much as the rest, and that's why it was drifting. So
that makes sense.
That could be, yeah.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Could be.
Maybe I'll have to inspect the drone, but I just out of safety, I brought the drone back and landed. I said I'm not going to fly it if it's reacting like that. It's not safe. I don't want it to.
Oh yeah,
I
agreed.
don't want to lose or anything.
Now here's a question with the Mavic 3. Can you spin the motors by hand, just kind of like rotate them slowly and kind of feel the magnets catching? Can you feel that with the Mavic 3? Because
Okay,
if you can, if you can, like rotate every motor by hand to see if they all feel the same.
The same.
And and that would tell you, like what Maria said, if one motor may be weaker than the other.
Sure. Yep.
Well, I'll definitely inspect them and I'll find out. I'm guessing that just a simple calibration should do it. I haven't flown it in a while, and I should have probably calibrated it. So
that could be the problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm also
You haven't flown
curious,
it in a while.
but I was curious if maybe something happened to the controller, and maybe there's some actual drift there, and I want to take a look at the inputs to see if it was registering a stick drift. Because if it's just a motor, it won't register any movement in the stick. But if it's a stick drift, it should register it in the log, right?
Yes, it should. If you overlay the stick, you'll be able to see if the stick is in the middle or wherever, and if it's drifting off of where it was set.
Oh, look at the cat!
Stick overlay.
Mine.
Oh, show a cat.
I'm not home. I'm not at home, so I can't get mine. I can't get my cats out.
Yeah, actually,
my cat wouldn't let me.
So you haven't done any calibration to it, or I mean, did complete recalibration of everything? You've just brought it home and we'll do it later?
Well, so what happened is we went out and met him, and I had to do a little bit of walking, not much, but it was enough to. I ended up coming home and going to bed. I laid down and I ended up going to bed, and I woke up today and looked at the footage. So a problem is that I tried some bracketed photos, but the problem is the drone was constantly moving.
Oh
So
yeah,
when
so they
yeah,
wouldn't be good.
yeah, nothing's lining up right. Everything looks
Yeah.
real weird. So, like I said, I'm going to investigate it. I definitely want to take a look at the log because that will tell me if there's stick drift. Because if
Yeah.
it's not that, I know it's something else. But it was definitely reminiscent of like a PlayStation controller where your character's standing there and he's just turning slowly in one direction. You got stick drift. That's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I've never had that with any of mine, but
The only thing I will say is on my original Avata one, I never had any stick controller issues, but on every single replacement, they've all said I've had stick controller calibration issues. And I go through the calibration and it completes and then it still says it's got an issue.
Yeah.
That's a Nevada thing, and I believe that that's widespread.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
So what I'm going to do is while we talk, I'm going to play. I have some Avata video from where we're flying at. So we went I just looked on Google Earth. I just looked for something nearby and I looked up things to check out nearby. And that's how I found this place. There's like an art museum. And at this art museum, you could walk, it's free admission and everything. And they have, well, you'll see it, a metal duck outside around this real cool fountain area. So I'll play it here so
I saw that.
everyone can see it.
yeah, this is a cool video. Look how calm the water is when it gets out over it.
Yeah, so this is me just changing the mode right here after I took off because we were at the picnic table. But so I wanted to be careful, of course, when I came over the water because sometimes there's like branches and things over here on the side that you can't see.
Yep.
I didn't want to hit any of that, and plus I want to watch out because there's a lot of ducks and birds over here. So when I made my way across on this side, you'll notice there's some ducks and there's a swan. All of them were on this side of the lake. So after I go by them this one time and see where they're all at, I never go back over here. I leave them alone and I fly where they're not. So, that's like a tip. If you're out flying over a body of water, just be careful of the wildlife. If you see them going around very slowly just to see what's here. Mm-hmm. And also, Jeff Norman had his hot-tail up, and he was at probably about 20 feet maybe higher than I was. So we were in constant communication of our height, so that way we didn't have a collision.
That's huge. That's crucial.
Yeah.
That makes.
I'll actually come across his drone is actually over by the building here. Do you guys want me to make that bigger, or is it fine the way it is?
Looks good.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. But look how calm that water is. Look at the reflection.
Hey, Benjamin.
It's smooth, yeah. No wind, you can tell.
So as you can see here, I'll make it bigger so you can see the swan. So here's the swan with all the babies. So you got the swan here and all the babies. So I moved around them slow, and then after that, I stayed away from this whole area and I stayed over where, So just be mindful when you're flying, especially like the Avata where you get low, that the wildlife is,
Yeah, do a slow pass first before you start to do anything crazy because you never know what you're going to see.
Scream past them at 50 miles an hour.
Jeff Norman's right here. Do you see that orange? That's Jeff's drone right here.
Yeah.
And we're flying from right over here.
So where is that location?
So this is in Brockton, Massachusetts.
Do you have to say it with a East Coast accent, Brockton?
Nope.
No, it just comes naturally.
Brockton.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is what I wanted you to see was this statue right here. This is really cool. So we were able to walk around inside this building and walk out here.
Well, that's a cool shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he does a great job. Yeah. Check this out.
So this thing's really
cool. The Avata, he's doing this. This is amazing shot.
And then, like you see, there's some branches here, so you got to be careful not to,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But look at the reflection of the building. I tried to get some good shots with the Mavic 3, but it was drifting, and I couldn't get a good shot.
No wind means you get good reflections.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
it was a
that
little
water.
windy, but it wasn't moving the water.
Not by the surface, not by the water surface. It's not.
Yeah.
So wait, your wife and your son are having conversation in the chat room?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
I know nothing.
So yeah, what do you guys think of that place? It's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
Very
That's very,
cool.
very cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's better.
So
Yeah, it's nice.
It's my
Yeah.
cornfields.
yeah, if you're ever in the Massachusetts area and you want to know where that is, let me know. I'll let you know where that spot is. It's pretty cool. The museum is free. You got all sorts of cool art that you can check out in there. It's really cool,
Hmm.
and you're not expecting it because as you're walking through the hallway of the building, all of a sudden you look to your left and they have these beautiful big glass doors that you can't walk through there, but when you look through, you see the metal duck and that little nice little area. The view is beautiful, and the lake in the backdrop. It's really it was unexpected, so it was pretty cool. I hope Jeff really enjoyed his time there. Yeah.
What I'd
That
like
was
to
all in
know,
Rhode
though,
Island.
what I'd like to know is that Swan is not native, so do they pack her up or him up and transport for the winter?
Nope. Swans stick around. Whatever pond they're in, they stick
No
around.
kidding.
Yeah, there's a
Oh, yeah.
pond in my house that has like 3 or 4 of them, and they actually had babies about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed in the video, but there was another swan. So there was Mama and Dada were both there, but that's why I took that slow flight through at first because I knew there were ducks. I weren't sure where they were. I did
Huh.
see the swans out there, so I had an idea that they were that way. And but it was pretty cool to go fly around them. But I didn't want to have like a collision with a baby duck.
Hey,
think
Paul,
the
can you
duck
say Mama and Dada again?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Can you say Mama and Dada again?
Mama and Dada.
Mama and Dada ducks or Mama and Dada swans?
Yeah. But no, this is
Like
really
in
cool.
Arizona, we're not near the ocean at all, but we get seagulls in the wintertime. They come here.
Yeah.
Well, they're
We
smart.
have
very
seagulls in the
opportunistic.
parking lot.
Don't talk to me about birds.
I mean, beaches up here get pretty damn cold in the wintertime, so they're smart.
Yeah, interesting fact about we're talking about birds, but Mike Tyson actually like raises pigeons. It's actually a thing that he does. I only bring that up
Nice.
because I've been watching a lot of
Humming
Mike Tyson videos recently. He's getting ready for a fight on.
We
was
have
it
many
the 15th?
pigeon fanciers down here.
Yeah, if you want to see Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul on the 15th, it's on Netflix. It's coming up, so that ought to
Are
be.
they finally gonna? Are they finally gonna beat
it's
each
gonna
other
be a
up?
joke. It's a joke. I mean,
No. Look, I think go check out Tyson's training videos. He's more serious than I think I've seen him since the '90s.
I hope Tyson knocks him out in one punch, but we'll see.
I'm pretty sure
That
I'm
would be nice.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Well, it'll be an interesting fight. I'm excited to watch it. I know all of us are. We've been talking about it for a while.
Mhm.
Yeah. So let us know in the chat what you guys think about the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight coming up. Oh, thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Mucho.
That's
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Dominic, did that just get rid of itself, or did you get rid of that?
I think I hit it.
Okay,
You went for the music, and I went for the
Yeah. Run.
why I'm not in charge.
Yeah. So okay. So the topic of discussion tonight was focal length, and I think I know that probably a lot of people might not really understand it, and I'm new to it also. And I kind of have this thing where I like to find topics that I need to learn about and talk about it with you guys. And
I'm here
Ken.
somewhere.
Bring Ken on. He seems to know, and Jim both.
Yeah.
I knows focal length.
Yeah. So does anyone want to take a stab at explaining what focal length is?
I actually don't. I just
Okay.
As a definition, no.
All right. So
Go ahead.
I have a couple of
Length
things
of
here.
focus.
Inside the description of this video, there's a YouTube video that I've watched that you can use for some reference. I think it'll give you some basic information about focal length. And these are a couple of screenshots I captured from there. But a longer focal length would be like a telephoto lens. So that's the longer lens. It's meant to see further away. So you're kind of like, well, I have another guide to show you after. But then you
Looking at
have like
stuff
a,
a long
yeah,
way away.
yep. And now you have like a shorter focal length, which is like a wide angle lens. So you think about like the Avata. The Avata has a wide angle of view, right? So it has a shorter focal length. The same thing with like your with your Mavic battery. You know, the wider the view, the shorter the focal length. As you get further away and you kind of want to see the target more, your focal length gets bigger, right? And that's the longer lenses. So I hope this makes sense to everybody, but imagine a focal length here. You got, your biggest at 16 millimeters, 21 millimeters, 24 millimeters. I don't really know
And
how
so
to,
on and so forth.
yeah, I don't really know how to explain this photo. And this is why I want to talk about it, because I can understand it by looking at the photo. I understand what it means, but I don't really know how to explain it. So if anyone does, that's
I
fine.
do.
Yeah. Okay.
See if I,
Take the
see if I
floor.
can do this
Let her
correctly.
talk.
The millimeters you got on a lens, okay, determines the focal length, which means, let's say, okay, here's a phone and here's a pack of gum, okay, and you're set up where the phone is, and you want this to be in focus, but you're not, everything else is going to be out of focus. The focal length of the lens determines how far away you are from that subject without a zoom, okay, to have this in focus. So what's in front of it will be out of focus, what's behind it will be out of focus, but the focal length will be the distance between the camera and the object. That's focal length. So let's see if I can. This is what I learned in film school, and I also learned this from my buddy Chris. So
Depends
I'm
how
trying to
close
get
you
the
are to
same
it.
words. Yeah, it's some lenses, the focal length you can have down to an inch, which means, let's say if you're focused on a person, okay, that depending on the lens, maybe only their nose and just a little bit of the face might be in focus where the rest of it's not. So it all depends on the lens, how many millimeter size the lens is, what its range is, the focal length range. Hope that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And now let's say you're flying at like you're far away from the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty. Let's say that you're flying far away and you want to see the face better. You would want a longer focal length lens, like the telephoto lens on the Mavic. Let's say the telephoto lens to getting closer. You won't see as much of the area of the landscape because you'll be zoomed in more.
Yeah.
That's true, but the focal length on a drone is a lot different than what you would have on, let's say, like a DSLR camera or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, you're
Yeah.
very limited in your focal length. It's kind of like what you see. That's why when you see a drone shot, it looks a lot like what you would get from a GoPro, because there is no focal length there. It's all in
Fixed.
It's all
yeah, it's
digital.
all clear. Yeah, it's all in focus.
All right,
Yeah,
quick,
and
quick.
Don, yeah, I thought it was the light converges inside the lens to the sensor. I'm sorry, but do you have something you want to say?
That, yeah, the
Well,
aperture is a big deal with that as well.
okay, so on my old Mavic 2 Pro, when I focus in, okay, I fly a lot of Leachy missions where I fly around something and I tell it to focus on that. But yet the surrounding distance areas are out of focus. Is that because of then the focal length that it's concentrating on, let's
Yep.
say you, and
Yeah.
we are out of focus then?
Yeah, because if you've got a statue in front of you and you say, okay, I want to focus on this statue, it's going to focus on it. It's going to do that. But let's
Right.
say you have a big wide expanse and you say,
Right.
hey, I want to focus on those trees about a mile away. It's going to make everything clear because that's how far you want the focal length.
Okay.
But aperture does have a lot to do with that because
All right.
the wider
Wait,
it's
time out.
open,
Time out.
more
What's
light.
aperture? What's aperture?
Oh man, you need to take my buddy's
How
class.
big
Yeah,
the
thank
opening is.
Okay,
Here,
aperture
It
is
might
the
be this
opening
big
for the
or this.
yeah, the opening for the camera. The smaller the opening of the aperture of the camera, the less
okay,
light is getting to the sensor. The bigger, the more light you're getting,
okay.
and that goes
Hey,
with shutter
uh,
speed as well.
yeah, and uh, and TJ, because he's 8, that's why he doesn't post videos.
one thing you can Google and try to understand is something called the exposure triangle. That is ISO, your aperture, and your shutter speed.
Hmm.
I'm not sure how much that can actually come into play with drones because a lot of the drones, like the Mavic series, probably you can
Limited.
adjust that. Like I have an Air 2S, and there's like really nothing that you can. I mean, you can kind of play with the aperture and the shutter
Fixed
speed,
aperture.
but I mean your ISO and your shutter speed, but the aperture is like locked at what 2.8, I think, for the
Hmm.
Air
Something like
2S.
Yeah, a
But
lot of them
in
aperture fine.
photography in general, like for still photography, the exposure triangle gives you everything you need to get whatever shot that you need. You just got to play with those three things to get the shot that you want.
But
I have it up there a
you
month
also
all the
change the
time.
aperture.
And
Yeah,
and
they
uh,
all work together. Describing the depth of field is not focal length. That this person's right to an extent because the depth of field is also, what he's talking about. I know exactly what he's talking about, but the lens determines the focal length you're going to get.
Right.
Yeah, the depth of field controls the range of focus.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
Like
So
for
that
example, like
means
I
that
I do sports
the
photography, so I
mm,
generally use an aperture of like 3.5 um,
Hey,
to
Jalen, how you
4
doing?
yeah,
because it keeps my
Galen.
athlete in focus and the background
Yes,
is kind of blurry. But
yes.
if I'm doing like a team photo or something like that, or even like a family portrait, I bump that up to like 8 or 9 because that way my whole range of view is going to be in focus. But that's not like focal length, but that's like with aperture and all that stuff. But that's how like depth of field kind of works with
Yeah,
Well, it
that.
works
and
like
I,
with like
I understand I understand what Don was talking about because when I was researching the depth of field and focal points and all that, he's talking about the science of how the light goes through the lens and all that. I'm looking
Yeah.
at it from more of a beginner standpoint because I'm looking at it from someone who doesn't really understand it at all. So I know that they're all tied, and I understand you're talking about the depth of field, and I understand how the focal length changes that. But I'm learning about it. So that's exactly why we have these discussions because I don't know fully. And that's why I like when I know Ken works with handheld cameras, right? You take
Yeah.
just regular digital photography. And this is something that becomes more prominent in that area because
Yes.
you can change
Yeah.
Absolutely.
the lenses on those cameras. And yeah, so it's different. Yeah.
you see what he was mentioning about ISO, the best way to describe it, in my opinion, is the higher the number, the more artificial light you're technically putting into it. That's why some
Right,
pictures can come out grainy.
Yep.
They look
right.
like they're white grainy.
Exactly.
If you have the correct ISO with the correct aperture settings, you won't have to boost your ISO even in low light situations because you're opening the aperture to allow more light in. So
Mm.
with
Again,
drones, for example, an ISO should be kept, in my opinion, no higher than 300, and then use your ND filters as necessary.
Yep.
But
okay.
the higher you boost the ISO to get a brighter image, the more grain you're going to have.
Grainy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
think Bud wanted to respond to that, right, Bud? Hi,
Margie.
Marty.
Well, okay. Again, back in the 70s, I had a black and white class with real film that we had to develop. My question to you guys that fly drones, do you fly in auto or do you go and tweak before you take off? I mean,
And
you said
manual
manual,
settings,
really? Okay.
manual settings.
Kind of depends.
For me, I do both. It depends. Like sometimes, like what I've been doing now is I don't like the way. And I think I talked about this last week. I don't like the way that
Mm.
DJI puts their panels together. Like I don't do the panel through DJI Fly. What I do is I'll just look for the middle and I'll take a shot with some and a shot with overlap, and then in Lightroom I'll put them
Mm.
together. But
Okay.
before I do that, I shoot in manual because if I move from here to here, my exposure might change. So what
Yeah.
happens is if I put those two together, you'll see the line in the middle and you'll see different exposures, and that looks like junk. So what I do is I just do
Mm.
manual and I try to set up for what I think is going to be good for both sides. and then I shoot my 2 shots, and then I'm good to go. But generally, I'll just leave it in auto and just do it that way.
All right. So again, let's go back to your manual. You're shooting here, you're shooting there. So you're making a best guess on your adjustments
Yes.
in manual. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so maybe if I go here, it might be a little bright. Maybe here it's a little dark, but I'll just try to find I'll set it in manual and then I'll spin a little bit. And I mean, when I'm spinning, I'm only spinning a little bit, and I'll see how things change. And if things don't change that much, I'll just say, "Oh, hey, great," and I'll take the shot and be done.
All right, cool. Yeah, cool. God, Paul, my brain is exploding.
It also depends a lot, but it depends
Happens
on
every week,
what
bud.
your drone capabilities are, because some
Yes.
drones you don't have aperture control on. You don't have stuff like that, so you have to rely on auto with the drone.
Yeah, my Air 2S only has I can only adjust the ISO and the shutter speed. The aperture
we
is
don't have
not.
aperture
So
on it.
Right.
Right.
Well, aren't most drones the aperture what you get when you buy it, or are there some out there that there are adjustable?
Yeah,
Few.
the 3S
Few.
is, I'm pretty sure.
All right, so some of the newer ones.
Oh, by the way, that's when I wanted to say something to what Maria mentioned about the ISO. Interestingly enough, with the Air 3S, they've been able to employ some new technology or evolving technology with increased ISO and noise. And I think that soon there'll be a point where that ISO will not be an issue when it comes to grain in the footage, because the Air 3S really does a bang up job with the low light footage and removing.
Yeah,
artificial intelligence is going to get rid of that.
Hey, Dre, how you
I
doing?
heard that the ISO limits of the Air 3S is really good.
Yeah. So I see that changing in the future, but I thought of that because you brought up, you said what, the ISO at 300, right, at the max.
Well, that's what I would do, Max. But the thing is, every drone, every camera is going to be different. Where the native ISO is zeroed out, and you can take a picture, let's say, with a Sony camera or a Canon camera, and you have the native ISO zeroed out, and they're going to look totally different because the native ISO is different per manufacturer. So you can't just say across the board 300 max. You have to know the equipment. So to know what the native ISO is on it.
Yeah. Like I shoot Canon for still. I shoot Canon, and I have my primary is still. It's an old 1D Mark IV, but that goes up to 12,800 ISO, and then my second camera is a 1D Mark III, and that really only goes to 3,200. So you just got to know, what you got.
And then there's the negative ISO.
Here's Bud laughing.
If anybody knows about the negative ISO.
So, Bud, you don't know what the ISO is, right?
I do, but I not minus 33,000 and 47,000 plus.
Just think of it like the level, so you increase it or decrease it. Now, ISO is the light, right? The amount, artificial light.
Now,
artificial light.
Okay, I'm out of focus. Why did I go out of focus?
But now,
when I do my GoPro, I adjust, for if I'm going to be at night. And you're right, the higher the ISO, the more grain I get, yada, yada, yada. So I do understand that. But when you're talking thousands, no, that's out of my league.
That's highly grainy.
But see,
GoPro is terrible.
But see, here's the beauty of the generation that we're in now is that it's all digital. So just take some shots and practice. Bring them back to your computer and see exactly what you did in what setting. That's just the greatest thing that we can do.
A lot of times when I'm shooting a photograph, not that I shoot, well, only because of Paul and his top down and wide open and all the other crap we have to take. I'll shoot a 5 bracketed shot, and then I get 5 different choices, and then sometimes I'll take it into Photoshop Director or whatever it's called, and tweak it a little bit. But you guys are way out of my league.
No, I just put the ISO up as high as it'll go and take pictures of sand. No one will notice.
I mean, to be honest, being a still photographer does really help in this.
Yeah,
but
sure.
you can still do very well with the drone without being a still photographer.
Okay, now let's say you're taking digital pictures. Obviously, you can tweak a lot in the software, then, right?
Yeah, I shoot RAW, so you can tweak just about everything. You can tweak like white balance, just everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Color contrast, tint,
Yeah.
everything.
And when you're like my specialty is sports, so when I'm doing sports, raw comes in handy because like I shoot hockey a lot, and hockey is really hard to get the whites correct because
Right.
of the
A lot
ice
of
and
whites.
everything else.
Right.
So shooting in raw really actually is a benefit because I can tweak all that. But our drones shoot raw as well. So if you set yours to raw, you can do a lot of editing in post and kind of make it look the way that you want it to, or the way it should, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, for me, being colorblind, I have to tweak it, bring my wife in, and go, "How's this?" She's like, "No, throw it away. Try again."
That looks like shit, bud.
Yeah. Well, she's a little kinder. She doesn't use shit. Just looks like crap. No, you guys are amazing. I mean, your knowledge base is excellent. I appreciate it, man.
Well, that's the idea of community. I mean,
Right.
take an idea where you don't know much about it and get everybody's input and learn a little something about it.
Well, I got rain all day tomorrow and Tuesday, but guess what I'm going to be doing Wednesday? Playing with my camera.
Flying.
We've barely had any rain out here in New England. I mean, it's been.
Oh my God! It's so bad.
It's so bad that when it's going to be a windy day, they put out a weather alert saying to not burn anything because it's so dry.
I go by a reservoir. I drive home past a reservoir in North Attleboro every day, North Attleboro, and I see more and more little islands popping up. It's just no rain, none.
And this week, no rain, as far as I can see.
If you get a chance, look at my latest video. All my leaves, we blew them into my creek bed, which literally has no water. It's just now a creek bed of leaves.
I'm trying to think about where I can fly.
Jeez. This year's supposed to have a whole ton of snow and cold and wet. The La Nina.
You can have it. Arizona.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you watched the Bears game, because who cares? But it hailed during the Cardinals and Bears game today. They had to close the roof.
Wow. It hailed here.
Mm-hmm.
It was hailed here for about an hour.
Arizona.
Bears.
The Bears.
Hey, listen, I always love those skits from Saturday Night Live, and the ones with Chris Farley and all that were hilarious. It's kind of funny because I want to go nomad, and I think of Chris Farley, and he's always, I live in a van down by the river. I want to live in a van down by the river.
Live in a van down by the river.
That's funny.
No. I got a trailer by the river, but it's not really a trailer anymore.
I don't want to hear it. You got a creek in your yard.
A creek, not a creek.
A bridge. And a bridge going over the creek.
Creek.
Bridge going over the creek.
True story. I had another European viewer of my creek. Where do you get the water from? Miles away.
Don't you mean like a creek in your
upstream?
Yeah. Well, it's a stream.
Where do you get the water from? Upstream.
And when he's had too much whiskey, he's European in his river.
Speaking of.
Oh, boy.
He's like, I don't want to go inside.
I have a creek in my floor. I have a creek in my backyard.
Yeah.
We have dry washes.
Yes, you do. Where in Arizona are you?
Central.
I had property in San Simon down at the southeast corner that my grandfather bought back in the 40s. I ended up selling it a couple of years ago.
What, over by Yuma? Wait, southeast. Sorry, no, that's the other side. That's over by Douglas.
Albuquerque was about a half hour away. We were on I-10.
Oh, on 10?
You took the right turn at least.
Yeah, took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
40 acres of nothing.
It still is 40 acres of nothing.
Yeah, but he got the water rights to it, so that helped him out.
Put some leaves in his creek.
Wait, they got 40 acres. They got 40 acres, and all they have is water?
No, Arizona's having a water problem, and I believe Maria would agree with me. Um, he's got an orchard, but the county that he lives in, which is Cochise County, is trying to control the water or whatever, and he needed more property to have more control. What am I going to do with 40 acres in the middle of nowhere, Arizona? So I sold it to him. But
Well, next time you have property in Arizona you want to sell, talk to me.
Hey, and now that he has the property with the water, he's using that water to brew coffee. Brew
Yes.
coffee.
Hey, that's a
perfect.
good segue there.
Yeah, for your chance to win the United States
You're
Drum Society
waiting
coffee
for it.
mug. That's smooth. I was waiting for something. Timer starts. There we go. Buzz left. I think he forgot that he's guest co-host. So you've been flying at all, Dominic?
It's actually been a bit windy around here, which is sad.
All the leaves
Very
are
annoying.
falling down off all the trees around here.
Our leaves are getting greener. Our trees are getting greener.
Yep.
And it's warming up here. Yep.
Welcome back, Maria. Looks like she lost connection there for a minute.
Oh, not again.
Happens.
Happens each week.
Ba-doo-doo. So yeah, I think it's an interesting topic of discussion tonight. Learn a couple of things. I think that overall, there's a lot of different, like, just little fundamental things to photography that you just don't understand or know how to apply. You know. So every little bit you learn helps.
I got to log in again?
No, you're still here.
Well, it says I got to log in again.
Ah, weird. You got 20
there you go. Thank you. Thank God somebody knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, I think the Leafs had a better chance, Brian. The Patriots are doing horribly. Ooh. 5 seconds left. Good luck, everybody.
Bears and Packers.
My wife is still trying to get one for Shay. Skylar's.
Where did Bill Walsh come up with tree?
I don't know. Good luck, everybody.
Ashley, come on, Ashley. Oh. Benjamin. Oh.
Yeah. Congratulations, Jeff. Congratulations. I
Hooray!
I think he's on Facebook. So message me on Facebook. Oh, we lost Ron too, right? There we go.
No, he's there.
No, we're all here.
Every time you do that giveaway, it bumps me off. I have to come back on.
No, hit the escape key. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I did. Yeah, and it worked great.
Okay.
Just like DJI warnings, just hit escape. Ignore.
You're about to hit a building. Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Actually,
am I ever going to get my stickers?
Yes, actually, I sent them out. I sent them out today. Sorry, not today. I sent them out yesterday. I stopped at the post office on my way home.
Here, I got a couple of leftover.
I actually had to. I found these too. I was looking for these. I couldn't find them. My labels, my address labels.
Now, Paul, are you going to put a half a postage stamp in there?
No, I'm not putting. That was just for you, bud.
Oh,
that was hilarious.
The stickers, bud. There's probably nothing else that's going to be.
Now wait. There's more. There's a little tiny screw that I have no idea what it fits.
Oh wait, bud, I have the other one. I kept the other one. Bud, I kept the other one right here.
Here, let's go screw together. Oh, God.
I'm glad I only sent you half a stamp. That won't pay for that kind of postage. I was actually kind of disappointed when he opened up all the envelope and didn't see the half a stamp because that was my favorite part. So he ended up finding it though, but that was hilarious.
It's still here somewhere.
Maybe you put it on half an envelope.
Oh, Ben wants to come say hi. Yeah, come on in and say hi, buddy.
Come on, Ben. Bring it.
Benjamin.
He's so polite. He messaged his mother. He's like, "Is it okay if I come in and say hi?"
Yeah, no, I like how they're chatting together.
Hey, Ben.
Hey,
Hey,
Ben.
buddy.
Hey, did you have
Ben.
fun for Halloween? Tell him what we did.
We went trick or treating.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, who's got something on in the background?
Yeah,
I
somebody
don't
has TV on.
Not me.
I mean,
Jim, is there TV on over there?
Nope.
My
Oh,
basement's
it's
quiet.
Dominic. It's Dominic.
It's always
That's all right.
Dominic.
Dominic.
there we go. There we
So,
go.
if you go look at my channel, I posted a video day before yesterday, I think, and it was this house in an area where we go trick or treating every year.
Yeah, big house. Big
And
house.
they really go all out. They do a phenomenal job with it. So I took a nice video of it, 4K 60 with my phone, and I posted it to YouTube. Check it out. They really go all out. It seems like it gets bigger every year. It's like a real spectacle over there, but it's really cool.
No, that was cool, man.
Yeah.
We don't get anybody like that here in Oswego, but yeah, that was cool.
Did you have
We
fun?
don't get a lot.
Too?
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing at the art museum?
The headphone thing.
Yeah. So when we first went through, before Jeff got there, we started to walk a little bit through the art museum, and they had like these displays, the ones where you put the headphones on and they kind of teach the kids a lesson and there's stuff on the screen. Well, they had some of that, and then we told him he could go check that out after Jeff arrived. So when Jeff arrived, we went back in to go see it, but there was a group of the Girl Scouts, right? Yeah, they were like a group of Girl Scouts in there, and they were all utilizing all the screens with the headphones, so I felt bad. But as we walked around into one of the other areas,
There was more headphones.
There was more, and he was able to
There
check it
was
out.
a song, though.
Yeah, but Paul, did he get a date out of one of the girlfriends or the Girl Scouts? No, Ben.
Still working on that.
I'm too young.
That's right.
You're gonna reach your game. Never stop too young.
You can wink at girls, smile at them,
Yeah.
tell them a joke. Never too young.
How'd that work out for you, Jim?
Oh yeah. Ben wants to show you his pin too.
Still working on it, bud.
Let's see it.
Let me see. So we wanted to, when we met with Jeff Norman, we kind of wanted to do something that was kind of personal and make it. So what we did is my wife has a friend who's actually Jewish, and they talk a lot about Jewish heritage and all that. But we had some pins, Stop Jewish Hate pins. So we kind of did it as just a sign of support for Jeff when we got together with him, because Jeff is Jewish.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
Very cool.
Ben's been wearing the pin proudly. That was very nice of you.
Growing up as a kid, we moved to Omaha, Nebraska. My dad worked for the railroad. Now, we've been Christians, our whole lives, and we moved right in the middle of a Jewish neighborhood. So when it came Christmas time, I'm like, Dad, where's all the decoration? Because we decorated the house, and obviously they didn't. So, yeah, and they were just the coolest of cool neighbors. But yeah, that's how I learned about the Jewish culture was, moving into their neighborhood. And you know what? They're just as human as we are.
Yep.
We're all human.
Thank you.
Yep.
Explain that to other people, Maria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what do we got? About 36 more hours and this shit's going to be over?
Oh. While we're all looking at the cold weather, Dominic's
It's only going to just begun. It's only going to be just begun.
Yeah, Dominic's getting the warm weather. He's excited. His springtime's happening.
But he's still in a sweatshirt.
Because they've got the air conditioning on in here. So when I leave here, I'm going to have to take this off and
We're trying to stay
carry it
warm.
with me. Yeah.
I'm sorry that it'll be so warm outside. You have to take your hoodie off. Cry me a river. It'll
Yeah.
run through Bud's yard.
Yeah, there you go.
Without
I
leaves.
got my
Crick.
2024 rewind video coming out soon because I do it every year, a rewind of just the year as it happens. And I was kind of previewing it earlier today to make sure everything was lining up just right. And it's funny that this show is one of the first clips in the video
Yeah.
because it's one of the first things that happened in
Nice.
the beginning of the year.
Oh,
Well,
very
So,
nice.
my 2024 video is going to include your songs, so or
which
your
one?
music. Yeah,
Which one?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, fine, be that way.
Oh,
You're going to have to wait till January.
January, you gotta rewind it in December. January's
All
2025.
right. But what if
Give
I
her the
get a really
preview.
nice show scene that I can check my ISO and my depth of field on?
Well, you got
You
2
won't.
months.
You won't.
wait a second.
Just give me the preview.
Wait a second. Did you just hear that? Bud's talking technical.
I didn't believe it
We have
either.
become successful. Bud, I am clipping that. I am clipping that.
That was his AI voice.
Because listen, if you remember in the very first episode of the show that Bud joined, Bud, I drink whiskey, and now Bud's talking drone terms.
That's because he's drinking more of it.
Is that a problem?
Not
No,
usually.
Bud, that was
No,
great.
my video is probably gonna come out sometime this month.
I know we're getting close to the end. I just want to say, Paul, thank you for, again, everything you do. I know you got some changes coming. I want to thank Dom, Jim, Dave's missing, Maria, Jim, Ron, everybody that hops on this show. Every week I learn something. So thank you.
Yeah. Great. All right, with that
Every
said, we
week
got. Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
I was just gonna say every week this show is part of the 7 days of emotional, psychological goodness.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know how I can say it.
It's the wind
It's
down
needed.
at the end of a busy week. It's a wind down on Sunday before the new week starts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, except Dom's already started.
Yeah, I'm on the wind up then.
This is how he winds up his week.
Yeah, but all their laws are
I
made.
think Bud's already started.
Yeah, all their laws are made in kangaroo court, so we can't trust anything that goes on over there.
Yeah.
All right, but we got about 4 minutes left, so we're gonna go around and give everybody a chance to say what they want to say and promote what they want to promote. I think we'll go with our quietest guest tonight, Ron. Let you go first. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I don't have anything to promote. Just get out and fly, do your, pre-flight inspections, and keep that content coming.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate it. That was a promotion. That's a great promotion. Advice is always a good one. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ron. I hope you have a great week, brother. Appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And Ken.
Hey, yeah, I got nothing much going on. November starting to get colder up here, so just keep flying, keep your batteries warm, keep yourself warmer, and just have fun.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ken. I appreciate it. Too bad you weren't able to make it up with us. It would have been nice, but
yeah, it was last minute, and my son had my car, my wife was out, so I was kind of stuck home. So, but
well, I know of a spot now where I want to go next summer. I know I
Okay.
want to go back there because that lake's pretty nice with that.
Yeah.
So we got plans.
Cool.
Yep.
I'll be there.
All right, Ken. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye, Ken.
And Maria.
Oh, I'm trying to get this on my phone so I can share it with y'all.
Oh no!
Hang on. Okay.
Your ISO's off.
This is something actually I kind of want to share. I have a typical release schedule that I found because I found the sweet times to release music. But this is something that's going to be a little bit extra that I'm going to release on January 3rd. And don't know how well this is going to come out here, But as you can see, it says that
Yeah.
on the top, which is completely washed out because my ISO is screwed up. Um, it says
That's all right. We're
quinquennium.
talking about that.
It says quinquennium, anyways, 2020 to 2025, and it's basically a celebration of 5 actual distributed years of music.
Sweet.
So it's a compilation album of some of the best music I've and most popular music I've released to date, with one song that's new, which is
Extra.
quinquennium, and quinquennium means 5 years. So that's coming out January 3rd. Be on the lookout for it. And other than that, just keep flying and taking wonderful videos because it's a great stress reliever.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I
Sounds
appreciate
good.
having you here, Maria. Looking forward to hearing new. You said there's a new song on there.
One new song, quinquennium. Yeah, that's the new one.
What's the
Interesting.
title?
Looking forward to it.
Quinquennium. Okay,
Quinn, like 5. Quinn.
QUINQUENNIUM. Quinquennium.
All right.
I
That's ISO.
Five in Roman is Quinn. So,
Here.
like, figure it out.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'll
looking
write it in
forward
the
to
chat. Quinn.
Say, Jen.
Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out.
There, it's in the chat.
Yeah, there we go, Dominic.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't ask me tomorrow.
And that just means 5.
Yeah, that's 5, like a decade. It was 10 years. Quinquennium.
So why does 5 need? Listen, 5 shouldn't have more than 5 letters in it.
I think
Wait,
it's
is that-
Latin.
Yeah,
Is that a
probably.
mannequin with 5?
Oh, Dominic, we're getting some your.
No, it's music. It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah.
True. I mean,
All
look
right, well,
at me.
Maria, I'm looking forward to hearing the new song.
Okay, I'll tell you this. How many songs are actually on this compilation album? 25. So
Sweet.
that's going to give everybody a good
Lot.
spectrum, and it's selections from every independently released album and a couple of singles.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow, you should have called
Wait.
it 24 and 1.
No, I
know.
Easy title.
Bud got it.
I did.
Yeah.
That'll be along Chicago lines. 25.
All right, Maria, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us tonight. Have a great week.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maria.
And Jim.
I'm just in a good mood. I don't have anything to pitch or sell. Just what shall I say for my little 30 seconds of fame? Just get out there and meet with other people and get out and fly as much as you can. It's getting harder and harder. The season is changing over here on this hemisphere. It's getting harder to get together, but it's important that we do it. So
Yes.
keep in touch and let's all get together and fly.
All right, thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate having you here this week, brother. I hope your cookout went well. I know you.
Oh yeah, it did. We got extra ribs, and they are not going to go in the trash. They are going to work and
yeah.
All
right, Jim. Well, have a great week, brother. Appreciate having you here. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Take care.
And Dominic.
Yep, that's me. We're an hour later over here, so thanks to your daylight saving. No, it's been an interesting 2 weeks learning all about the drone rules in Australia, and I get to work out a few more things in the next couple of days, and we will get that license sorted.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. I can't wait till you finally get that completed. That's awesome. So progress, take some time, but some progress.
Yep.
Thank you, Dominic and Bud.
First and foremost, Paul, thanks again for having me as a guest host. I truly, truly appreciate it. My brain is totally scrambled over focal length and ISO and other things.
Depth of field.
But guess what? We've got rain the next 2 days here. But I do have a digital camera, and I'm going to go out and play around with it. So thank you so much for piquing my curiosity on, because I've always shot auto. So I'll go out and try something different. Fly safe, meet new friends.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great topic of discussion tonight. Uh,
Yes.
Always interesting to learn something new about something new. So thank you for everybody who had input. And Don, Don's actually messaged me. I'm going to check his messages after, but he had some interesting input. We'll go back and maybe we'll touch up on the subject again the next show. Um, you know, again, my condolences to my friend Barry's family and his friends. I was not expecting to hear that news this week, so just get in touch with your friends. If you're struggling with mental health, reach out and get help. Dial 988. Reach out to your local communities, friends, family, wherever you need to reach out. Reach out and get help. Don't do it alone. I appreciate everybody being here tonight, and I'll see y'all next week.
No, wait,
Oh,
wait.
go ahead, bud.
In regards to your friend's passing, I have a very good friend that's coming out of cancer. He's got to continue the fight. If you got somebody that's hurting, somebody that is suffering, give them your thoughts, give them your prayers, let them know you care. It makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Great advice, bud. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great week, everybody. If I did, I forgot one more part. I know you saw it too. You did, didn't you? Didn't you? I know you did. That's all good.
Like
I had something interesting happen to me today while I was out. Someone tried to sell me a coffin. That's the
yeah,
last thing I need.
yes,